Okay, so thank you for joining me. My name is Guy Sadan, and today we'll be discussing the subject of Yang Ming, affected but not diseased. So please feel free to unmute yourself if what I say is not clear. I'm an Israeli, so my accent isn't that good. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, just unmute yourself and pop in the question. If the question is not related to understanding the slide or what I'm discussing, but it's something else, let's keep those questions to the end of the presentation so we can go over the presentation on time. So I would like to talk about my motivation to do this presentation. I'm a practitioner. I started practicing in 2005. And in 2016, I joined the GMP program of Sharon Weizenbaum. And later on in 2018 and 2020, I joined as a teacher assistant. And this presentation, I would like to bring a case of a young woman that suffered from constipation for 3 years. And she actually was mistreated by a previous practitioner, a senior practitioner that already was treating for long years, and he misdiagnosed her, and he diagnosed her with a Yang Ming presentation. And this issue of misdiagnosing constipation as a Yang Ming disease, as a Yang Ming conformation disease, is actually quite prevalent. And I also saw it as a TA. I saw a lot of practitioners confusing Yang Ming pathology with Yang Ming acute being affected by other conformations. So this presentation is actually a way to try to improve or correct this mistake, and I hope it will give you some help in the future. So let's start. So I'll present the case, and afterwards I'll argue that this is really not a Yang Ming presentation. But in order to do this, I actually want to explain what is a Yang Ming presentation. And we first have to understand what is Yang Ming, what is a Yang Ming conformation. And once we understand the nature of Yang Ming, it will be quite easy and evident to understand what is a pathology of Yang Ming. And then when we go back to the case, we'll look at the case with this new knowledge about Yang Ming, and we'll see that it doesn't really fit the picture, and there are other approaches for treating this case. And I'll end the presentation with how I solved the case. What were the actual diagnosis and how I treated it. So let's start. This case is about a 19-year-old patient. She was a soldier, and she suffered from constipation for 3 years. Her stool was hard and odorless. And as I said before, she received a herbal prescription that provided some relief for her problem, but actually didn't really solve the problem, because as soon as she stopped taking the medication, the herbs, the constipation reappeared and the pain she suffered reappeared. And the pain she suffered wasn't mainly of epigastric pain, which was worse with food. It was with some distension, and she had to eat small meals in order to accommodate and not to make this pain worse. It was a little bit better with applying a hot water bottle. She also suffered from chronic UTI, which was burning urination, dark, and with a strong odor. And it was worse with sex. Other symptoms she suffered from is that she was very thirsty, and she preferred to drink hot drinks. And she had a headache if she didn't drink enough. She took contraception pills because she had irregular periods and cramping pain, and this way she could manage the pain. She was sensitive to cold, especially at the extremities, at the limbs or in the lips, especially in winter. She suffered from some numbness in the legs, a shallow sleep, and she was very irritable. It wasn't that evident to me in the beginning, but as the treatment progressed, I noticed that she would mention here and there that she gets angry mainly with her family, not at work or not at the army or her friends. And I noticed that sometimes she would get angry at me because we would do a lot of sessions by phone, and she would complain that she has to pay for treatment that is done through phone, through like phone conversation. So I could sense a bit of anger, frustration with her. Her abdomen was her abdominal diagnosis. She had tight rectus abdominis, which means that the muscles which are beside the umbilicus were very tight to touch. And she also suffered from what we call epigastric hardness, some kind of rigidity around CV10, CV12. So these are the abdominal signs. And the